Hey everyone and welcome back. Today we're going to be taking a look at the real grade Gundam Exia. Wait, no, we're not going to be taking a look at that. Today we're actually going to be having a look at the real grade Gundam Astrea, which is actually really interestingly enough 2 different kits that combine into one. Now, the real grade Astrea has been re-released as the F-Type, which is one separate kit. But this is actually the original Astrea, which is the white and blue version instead of the red one, which means that this is actually an add-on pack for the real grade Exia. So if you do want one of these kits, you're unfortunately going to have to buy a Gundam Exia with it as well. So be sure when ordering the Astrea, make sure that you do actually have that Exia kit on hand. Whether that means buying a new one or taking the old one apart to add all these new parts onto. Which, to be honest, isn't that much of a difficult task to do. When it comes to the actual parts that you get with the Astrea's add-on set, you're not really going to get much other than a few bits for the armor and the weapons as well. You do get that really nice chrome-plated Proto-GN sword, which is also a really nice inclusion, and the instructions are a bit odd, being this small sort of A5 pamphlet, really. But the surface detail and the kind of parts that you get for the real grade Astrea are really nice, and the design is really intricate. So I don't think personally you'll be disappointed with the actual turnout of what you get in the box. Now, taking a look at the kit itself, it looks really good for the real grade's design. Now, I know there is a master grade of this version of the Astrea now, but me personally, I think the Astrea's real grade form looks a tad better. But that's up to your personal preference, where I feel like the proportions are a bit, boxier and a bit more, I want to say, powerful compared to the kind of lankier design of the master grade. Now, throwing this up, you can notice that those GN cables look really nice. Unfortunately, these GN cables are a nightmare to put in, as said by thousands of people before about the real grade Exia. But if you have the patience and you really actually like the design, go for it. My personal advice, put them in a little bit of hot water before actually inserting the GN cables in, and they'll be flexible enough for what you need. Now, actually getting onto the articulation for the real grade, the head articulation can be a tad limited at times because of the chin knocking into the clavicle armor. Now, you can also work around this by popping the head just slightly up, but obviously you're going to have a little bit of a loose connection. When it comes to looking down and up, unfortunately you're not really going to get much in terms of looking up and down, but that is unfortunately due to the chin as well. But all in all, it's not terrible. When it comes to the arms, you're going to get a really nice kind of flexion upwards, but as you can see, it does sag a little bit, but there is a joint in the actual shoulder and in the actual chest that allows you to kind of move the arm upwards a fair amount. And as you can see, the shoulders do like to pop off a bit, but that's more of a thing where you could just pop them back on and it should be simple enough. Now, moving the arms forward, they do actually allow full 360-degree rotation, and as you can see, the arms still continue to pop off. But it's no worries at all, as, they actually do allow 360-degree rotation, and it's a pretty solid connection, even though this is using the kind of early real grade inner frame, which has been known to be a bit problematic. But on my copy at least, it isn't too much of a hassle. Now, when it comes to the shoulder and the elbows, fine. You get really nice articulation. I'd have to say probably the best articulation on this kit comes from those elbow joints, as they are double jointed because of the actual inner frame. The shoulders also have articulation to allow the arms to clear out a little bit more, and the wrists are on a simple ball joint, which is fine. Getting onto the actual just hip articulation and the chest, unfortunately there is no ab crunch or back arch, unfortunately. I'm not sure if that's due to just the way this is designed, but it is a little bit disappointing, and I will cover one really disappointing aspect of this design, but that will come later. The actual waist rotation is pretty substandard. It's a peg that is connected to the joint, and that does allow 360-degree rotation, so you are going to get some nice rotation out of the waist itself. Nothing too complicated, nothing too overly designed. Now, when it comes to the legs, well, what can I say? The actual hip skirts, there is none. But there is back skirts and side skirts, and they are articulated individually. And they do move pretty much out of the way completely, except for the back skirts. But here is where I'm really disappointed with this kit. This is an issue with the actual Exia Real Grade as well. The legs are designed in a way where they do have that really nice feature where they can pop out the kind of scabbard area for holding the GN's short blade and long blade, but for some reason, I don't know why, they didn't incorporate a dropping mechanism for this kit, but that's it. That's as far as the legs kick out. You're not even getting 90 degrees. And that is just so disappointing, because the design looks so well, but because of the way the hips are designed and not having a dropping mechanism, they constantly clash with the front skirts, and that's not letting you pull out a really good front kick. Which is disappointing because the Exia is known as a really mobile unit, and the fact that you can't replicate some of those poses is just really disappointing in my opinion. Now, the actual knee joint is fine. It is double jointed, but some of the knee armor at the back gets in the way of a proper knee bend. But all in all, the actual legs, the feet especially, they're fine. The sort of front ankle guard is articulated, it moves up and down, it's fine. The back as well, it moves up and down and it's fine. And there are a really nice toe bend upwards and a decent toe bend downwards. And the actual side to side is really, really nice, as there is a ball joint at the top and there is a hinge joint at the actual foot itself, which allows you to get a decent amount of articulation from the actual side to side. But again, I have to state, I am really disappointed by that actual kick out to the front, whereas I was expecting a lot more from the Exia's kind of design. Now, moving on to the actual accessories included with the Astrea. This is also including the Gundam Exia's loadout, which it's a bit finicky to actually put some of the Astrea's parts onto it, but then again, you do have the option if you want it, as you can actually replace the GN condensers and add them. So you get the beam sabers that are included, you've got the accessories of hands, which are really nice, you get the Proto GN sword, the Proto GN shield, included with the actual Astrea, you actually have the Exia loadout, like I said, and you get the beam rifle that is also included, and the GN launcher, which is actually quite nice. It does have the same thing where you have to remove the clavicle antenna from the Astrea to actually attach it on, but other than that, it's completely fine. Now, you can pull off some pretty decent poses with the Gundam Astrea Real Grade, but as I said before, that kick out to the front is really disappointing, and personally I wish Bandai just included a simple dropping mechanism to allow the actual hips to give you a nice decent kick out to the front. But that shouldn't really take away from the kit too much, as it is aesthetically really, really nicely designed. And I have done some alterations to it to just bring out some of that detail and make it look a lot nicer. But all in all, I think if you get this kit, you'll be happy with what you get, knowing some of the drawbacks, obviously, to the early Real Grade frame. And honestly, what can I say about the Real Grade Astrea? I am decently surprised by it due to it being an earlier Real Grade. Because, you know, the earlier Real Grades have that sense of kind of fragileness and floppiness about them, but due to it being based on such a lightweight kit, you're not really going to get that due to the fact that it doesn't have heavy armaments, and it's not really going to let you down in terms of sort of holding itself together. And this kit has fallen off my shelf before, and it's held together really nicely. I do recommend maybe trying to glue the ears onto the actual kit itself, because they do kind of pop off if you hold the head wrong pretty easily, but they do just go in really easily again. But all in all, this kit is really kind of okay. I wouldn't say it's terrible, I wouldn't say it's bad, but it's just all in all a okay kit, and you know, you should be pretty much fine with what you get. Now, I want to thank you guys for coming and watching this review. As always, there will be more reviews posted on my channel, and I want to thank you guys, and it would help greatly if you were to subscribe and check out more of my stuff and share it and leave a comment and interact with my videos. Now, I want to say my farewells to you guys, and that I hope to see you guys some other time, and peace!